The pressure campaign is building. We are learning that President-elect Trump and former Congressman Matt Gaetz are both making phone calls to try and convince Republican senators to give the Attorney General nominee a shot. But there are serious concerns about Gaetz, and they are growing on Capitol Hill. And some lawmakers want to see a House ethics report on allegations of sexual misconduct and drug use against him. In the meantime, Trump is preparing to announce more key cabinet picks. Sources telling CNN he's expected to name Wall Street veteran Howard Lutnick as his commerce secretary. And he's already tapped Fox Business host and reality TV personality Sean Duffy to lead the transportation department. CNN's Kristen Holmes is live for us now from West Palm Beach, Florida. Kristen, let's start with Matt Gaetz. Trump not backing down from his controversial pick, even though he's quite embattled.
Yeah, not just not backing down, but actually doubling down on Matt Gaetz. And I am told that he's spoken to a number of allies, advisors about the likelihood that Matt Gaetz could get confirmed, and seems to be at an understanding that right now he probably doesn't have the votes in the Senate, which is why he and Gaetz have been making these personal calls to senators, essentially lobbying for Gaetz, asking them to give him a chance, asking what they think, why they would be interested in not voting for Matt Gaetz. But as you noted, this is actually coming at a time where we're hearing from more and more Republican senators saying they want to actually see that ethics report. It appears, some of these Republican lawmakers are saying they don't need to see it. It just breaks precedent to actually reveal it. But these senators are saying that it's important to them. Now, we have also learned new reporting from our colleagues Manu Raju and Elena Treen that J.D. Vance will be up on the Hill this week parading out a series of these cabinet picks, and that includes Matt Gaetz, who will actually sit down with some of these Republican senators as they try to make a case for him. I'm told Donald Trump has said above all else, above all of his cabinet picks, the Attorney General is the most important to him, and he wants his team to do whatever it takes to get that through the confirmation process.
All right, Kristen Holmes, thank you for that report. Boris?
The House Ethics Committee is set to meet tomorrow as members weigh whether to release the findings of their ethics report on allegations of sexual misconduct against Matt Gaetz. The committee's probe into the Florida congressman was shelved when Gaetz resigned from Congress after Trump announced him as his choice for Attorney General, throwing the public release of that report into question. Meantime, we're learning that Vice President-elect J.D. Vance will personally bring some of Trump's cabinet picks to Capitol Hill this week for meetings with key Republican senators. Let's get the latest from Capitol Hill with CNN chief congressional correspondent and the anchor of Inside Politics Sunday, Manu Raju. Manu, what can you tell us?
Yeah, there's a lobbying push that is happening, intensifying behind the scenes. Matt Gaetz, for one, has called a number of Republican senators on the Senate Judiciary Committee, trying to ask them to essentially give him a shot. That was the words from Senator Josh Hawley, who fielded one of those calls, as well as Senator Lindsey Graham. Now, in addition to J.D. Vance coming to Capitol Hill, President-elect Donald Trump himself making some calls, and the concern is that they may not have the votes in order to get confirmed, because there are more than 3 Republican senators who have concerns about J.D. Vance's nomination. Of course, it would require more than 3 to kill this nomination during a vote next year, if and when this does come to pass. And there are a growing number of Republican senators who say that the House Ethics Committee report that Speaker Johnson does not want released to the Senate should be released to the Senate. And one key senator, Chuck Grassley, who will chair the Senate Judiciary Committee, told me earlier today that he believes this report should be released in order for them to speed up consideration of this critical nomination.
I would suggest, if they want a speedy consideration of this, because you've heard my colleagues, especially on the Republican side, say that they have some questions, not only considering what you're asking me about, but it goes beyond that to the FBI. And I think it would help faster consideration the extent to which they would make as much available as they can.
Now, this committee's report, a bipartisan investigation, details allegations of sexual misconduct involving the former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who resigned abruptly last week in the aftermath of this nomination announcement. That is the reason why Speaker Johnson has said that now that he's a former member, this committee report essentially should be shelved and not released to the public. There are some Republican senators who say they don't have concerns about the underlying allegations, which Gaetz denies, saying it will not affect them one way or the other, including Senator Lindsey Graham.
Nobody should be disqualified because of a media report.
It's an investigation. By the department. He wants to leave. Bipartisan ethics investigation.
And they didn't proceed forward.
And he was referring to the Justice Department's investigation into Matt Gaetz that did not result in any charges here. There are Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee, including the outgoing chairman of the committee, Dick Durbin, who said today that he wants the Justice Department to preserve all records relating to its investigation into Matt Gaetz. And I can tell you, Boris, there are Republicans on the committee who want to see this as well. So a lot of questions still about, one, whether they'll see the report as the committee, the House Ethics Committee, meets tomorrow to make a decision on how to proceed. Boris?
Yeah, a quick pivot there by Senator Graham. He tried to escape you, Manu, but you were able to corner him along with the other congressional correspondents. Manu Raju, live on Capitol Hill. Thank you so much. Let's discuss more with our political experts. Shermichael Singleton is a Republican strategist, and Alyssa Farah Griffin was the White House communications director under Donald Trump. Thank you both for being with us. Alyssa, why do you think Trump is pushing so hard for Gaetz to be his attorney general? What is he uniquely poised to deliver that another nominee might not?
That's kind of the perfect question, Boris, because listen, Matt Gaetz is somebody, he is a practicing attorney, he's a smart guy, he can present well, but he's also a deeply polarizing figure who's been plagued by these allegations, and he's also widely disliked in Congress. I'd argue he's probably the most disliked member from his effort to unseat Kevin McCarthy. His own personal dealings are well known. Donald Trump likes him because he's a loyalist and he's somebody who he thinks will have a heavy hand and implement his objectives as Attorney General. By the way, those are all things Donald Trump as President-elect is entitled to. But the Senate's got a key role here, their advise and consent role. Matt Gaetz not only, I would say, is arguably not particularly qualified for this role, the moral failings and these allegations that have dogged him since he's been in Congress are a very real concern. But Maggie Haberman's got reporting that tracks with what I've heard from some folks, which is Donald Trump is also willing to accept that he may need to go with someone else. And I think Senate Republicans could lend him an elegant off-ramp by saying, you know, Mr. President-elect, we simply don't have the votes. Why not go with your deputy attorney general or another nominee?
And I wonder, Shermichael, what you think about the prospects for Matt Gaetz, what they are right now, but also if he is endangered, if there's an appetite for Trump to see many of his I mean, does that mean that the other controversial nominees have a much better chance of getting through?
I think so. I mean, look, I think from the Senate's perspective, if you're the incoming leadership, you can say, look, Mr. President-elect, we're going to give you everybody else but this particular nominee. I see that as a possibility. I am really uncertain at this point. As more committee members request to see that ethics report, I just don't think this is good. If I'm advising the president-elect at this point, I'm probably saying, sir, we should have a possible number two. Let us begin the process of doing the background checks on that number two. You've been given this mandate, if you will. Your numbers are looking great in terms of popularity. You're going to become president in a matter of weeks with a great applause from a sizable percent of the American people. Let's be in a position to hit the ground running really hard on those consequential issues that people voted for you. Let's not get distracted. And I would present that case to him so that he has that opportunity to choose someone else if he decides.
If you were in Trump's camp and you were weighing whether to support the release of this House ethics report, I'm struggling saying that, the TH and the S.
I have a really
so
tough
close
time
together.
too. Very hard.
The House ethics report, would you want it out there? Because some Republican senators are suggesting that if you just get it out there now, it's a lot easier to try to confirm him than if it's like a drip of information on testimony that's in it. Which do you think?
I mean, look, if he's confirmed, what you don't want is for someone to leak it, number one. Number two, if you're a senator, you want to know what's in it, because let's say they ultimately confirm the vote for the former congressman, and then a litany of information comes out after the fact. Then you put a lot of these senators in really bad predicaments with a lot of their constituents, with the media. So they're looking at this from a very different perspective. I'm sure their staff is advising them, before we make a determination, let's make sure we assess all of the information, whether it's public or not. If I'm the president-elect, I'm staying out of this. Allow the Senate to make whatever decision they want. You want to protect the principal. Again, he's popular, he's doing well. Mr. President, this isn't our battle. Let the Senate do what they need to do. Let the House decide if they want to release it to the senators. For us, we have more important things to focus on, like what your first 90 days are going to look like.